You probably grew up tracing your fingers over the stone tablets in your illustrated Bible, memorizing the 10 Commandments so you could get a gold star in Sunday school. You learned thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not murder, and you were told that these were the absolute, unchanging laws written by the very finger of God. What your Sunday school teacher didn't tell you is that when Moses went back up the mountain to get the replacement tablets, God dictated a completely different list of rules, and they are bizarre. Today, we are going to look at the second set of commandments, the ones the institution has spent centuries hoping you never read out loud. There was a philosopher in 17th century Amsterdam named Baruch Spinoza who was formally cursed by his own community at 23 for reading the sacred text exactly the way you're about to. He read without the institutional filter, following the words to where they actually go instead of where the institution needs them to go. We are going to apply his method today. Drop your city and country in the comments right now, because I want to see where in the world people are sitting down to finally read what is actually right there on the page. Let's set the scene. If you open your Bible to Exodus 20, you find the most famous moral code in human history. God speaks, and we get the classic 10 Commandments. But a few chapters later, Moses comes down from the mountain, sees the people dancing around the gold calf they made while he was gone, and he loses it. He throws the tablets and smashes them on the ground. So the tablets are broken. Moses has to go back up the mountain to get a new set. This happens in Exodus chapter 34. God tells Moses to chisel out 2 new stone tablets, and God explicitly says he will write the words that were on the first tablets. But then God actually starts dictating the new rules. And if you put Exodus 20 on the table next to Exodus 34, the words do not match, not even a little bit. Instead of do not murder and do not steal, the new list includes commands like, do not make a treaty with the people of the land. You must celebrate the festival of unleavened bread. Do not offer the blood of a sacrifice with anything leavened. And the absolute kicker, do not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. Then, right after giving this incredibly strange, ritual-obsessed list, the text in Exodus 34:28 explicitly states that Moses wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. I want to stop here for a second, because I know what some of you are carrying right now. If you grew up in a church where you were terrified of stepping out of line, if you were a kid who was constantly measuring your own goodness against that classic list of 10 rules, wondering if God was tallying your every mistake, I need you to hear this. The failure was never yours. You were handed a stitched-together book, a text that mashed competing ancient traditions together, and you were told that noticing the seams was a sin. Why did the institution hide this second list? Spinoza had a name for it. He called it the politics of the text. Not corruption exactly, but the accumulated decisions of people in authority across generations about what gets carried forward and what quietly gets left behind. The institution needs you to believe the Bible is one unified, perfect message dropped straight out of heaven. But if they admit that Exodus 34 calls a rule about boiling a goat in its mother's milk, one of the 10 Commandments, that entire illusion of a seamless, infallible document collapses. They gave you the clean version from Exodus 20 because it preaches well. They buried Exodus 34 because it exposes the human fingerprints all over the text. You don't have to defend a book that can't even agree with itself on its most famous list of rules. You don't have to perform certainty about a document that was edited and packaged to keep you obedient. You are allowed to put both pages on the table and trust your own eyes. Tell me in the comments, which of these truths landed hardest for you? Was it the realization that the Bible literally has 2 different lists, or was it the fact that the institution has known this the entire time and chose to skip it? I read every comment, and I genuinely want to know. And if this names something you've been holding, send it to someone who's still receiving the curated version. Not to start an argument, just as the rest of the page. They handed you the first set of tablets, now you have the second.